Hi, it's Heather. Welcome back to Cafe Smom and day 3 of Vlogtober. I'm chuckling a little bit today because I want to talk about something that is serious, but if you're a stepmom and you have a stepchild who kind of likes to create a little extra drama around the house, you understand the importance of being able to laugh about it. Well, I don't vlog or blog much about my stepkids personally, or about my kids personally. I understand the ramifications of that with middle school and people finding them online. But I felt like I had to share something with you that happened last night because I know there are so many stepmoms that are dealing with this because I get tweets from you and emails. My stepdaughter, my 11-year-old, I love her dearly, but she has a propensity to like a lot of attention, and often negative attention. She loves to stir up drama around the house. And last night we were talking, and she had an incident, and I was like, what's going on? We talked to you, we're working with you, we're giving you all these great tools, and when you break a house rule or you do something at school, you have a consequence. And so what's the payoff for that? And she says, I like living on Misery Island, and I like bringing everybody in the family with me. And that's when I had to sit on my hands because I like to talk with my hands. And I don't know, it's like my hands are like a wind-up toy for my blood pressure, but I feel like the more I talk with my hands, the more I can get a little fired up. So I sat there and I listened, and she was being very matter-of-fact, and she's like, my life gets boring sometimes, and I like to see if I can get people to fight with each other. I like to see if I can cause trouble, and it's Misery Island, and I just want everyone to be on it with me. I said, well, thanks for sharing. And I said, I'm not going on Misery Island. That's your choice. I'm going to walk alongside you. I'm going to correct you when you make a mistake. I'm going to call you out. You're going to have consequences, predefined consequences that you know about. But I'm not going on Misery Island. She kind of looked at me, and she's like, well, don't I ruin your day when I do this? And I said, no. And that's an important lesson that I've learned, is that we are responsible parents. So we have to teach our kids and model for our kids, but ultimately their words and their choices are theirs, and we can't own it. I am not a bad stepmom if my stepdaughter makes bad choices. Now, I would be an irresponsible stepmom if I didn't address them. And if you've got a child or a stepchild who's causing a lot of chaos in the house, you are not a bad parent because of that. You just need to be mindful about what they're doing. So anyway, we continue to talk. And she says, you know what, Heather? She's like, I got to tell you something, though. She said, you are smarter than the average bear. Once again, hands are still being sat on. She goes, because teachers, sometimes they don't know what I'm doing. Other people, they don't see it. But you know when I'm tricking you, or you know when I'm kind of causing trouble, and you call me out. And she's like, you and my dad, you're just smarter than the average bears. I said, well, thank you. I like to think that I pay attention. It's because I love you and care about you that I pay attention to you, and I know when you're stirring up trouble and when you're telling me the truth and when you're not. And I know that this is not, a funny topic, and I know it's serious. And there are a lot of kids that cause a lot of drama and take 95% of the attention away from the other kids, and it's a struggle. And I'm not saying it's not a struggle for me, because it is, but I've had to learn to find some humor afterwards. I certainly don't laugh in front of her. I certainly don't, but sometimes the more belligerent or the matter-of-fact she is about some of this stuff, the more I find I have to be very matter-of-fact, calm, and listen and take it in and just, enforce the consequences and do what I have to do. So I wanted to share that with you. And I want you to think about, are there things that your stepchild does that just gets under your skin? Or are there things that you just know they are ramping stuff up to get everyone to stop what they're doing, or to make a scene at a family function? Is there a repetitive pattern? And think about what you can do, because the reality is they may not be changing for whatever reason. They may love living on Misery Island or Drama Island or whatever you want to call it. They're not getting off of it. And that's the other lesson too. Unless someone's heart wants to change or they want to make changes, it doesn't matter how long we talk to them, what consequence we give them, they're not going to make those changes. So So anyway, I'd like for your takeaway and your homework to identify a pattern of drama and see what you can do to change. I think the biggest change we can make is not to react. Because if our stepkids are doing something to get a reaction and we don't give them one, they're losing the motivation. And I can't guarantee that's going to happen. But you know what? Call up a girlfriend, tweet me, email somebody and say, oh, this happened. Lift me up, talk me through this. But don't give them the satisfaction of engaging. And then have predefined consequences for, a broken rule. I'll tell you one more thing, and I don't want this vlog to go on too long, but anyway, about a month or two ago, she comes down with this poster called House Laws. And we're like, what's this? And she says, well, I figured out why sometimes I don't listen to you and my dad. It's because you call it house rules, and I only follow the laws. Like the government, I follow the laws. So if I call these things house laws, I think I'll do a better job of listening. Once again, sitting on the hands, and I said, well, that's great. You could call it, living in the land of the pink unicorns. You just need to follow them. But there's another example of just kind of that tweaking and that chaos and that trying to kind of set it their own way. So figure out what kind of pushes your buttons, what's done for drama, and then figure out what you can do to change and what will impact your mood. Because the reality is, as stepmoms, we are the emotional thermometer of our home. And if we're happy and we're doing well, it sets the tone. And so we've just got to find ways to be able to not let that drama and that chaos get to us as much. So hope this was helpful. Remember, if you have a question or a struggle, please feel free to leave it below. I would love to answer it. And until tomorrow, stay strong and press on. Thanks.